I never thought loyalty could taste like battery acid, but there I was, choking it down in the glass tower of Vosteka's headquarters, staring at the termination letter that Elena Voss had just slid across the conference table like it was yesterday's takeout menu. 19 years, 19 goddamn years, of grinding through all-nighters in cramped garages turned venture capital pitches, of me coding the algorithms that made our AI diagnostic software the gold standard in healthcare, and her schmoozing the boardrooms until our little startup ballooned into a $2 billion empire. And now, Valentina. It's business, she said, her voice smooth as the Botox in her forehead, eyes gleaming like she'd just closed a hostile takeover. But the real gut punch? The whisper from her assistant earlier that morning. Elena was selling us out to PharmaCorp, pocketing a fat exit bonus while I got the boot, my equity diluted to zero in some fine print clause I'd signed in a haze of trust. I didn't scream, didn't flip the table or hurl my coffee mug at her perfectly coiffed bob. No. I smiled slow, like the creep of a virus through a mainframe, and said, "Happy hunting, Elena." May your parachute land soft. As I gathered my things, the weight of that USB drive in my blazer pocket burned like a live wire. It held everything, the encrypted ledgers from our bootstrap days, the ones proving how she'd siphoned off seed money into offshore accounts to fund her Hamptons lifestyle, while I bootstrapped on ramen and Red Bull. But worse, the smoking gun I'd buried for her sake. The insider trading scheme that could have landed her in federal prison if the SEC ever sniffed it out. I'd taken the heat once, back in '09, when the feds came knocking on a tip. Lied to their faces. Said it was my idea. My bad math on the projections. She owed me her freedom. And now? Payback's clock was ticking louder than Wall Street at open bell. The elevator ride down from the 47th floor felt like free fall without a net. Manhattan sprawled below me, a concrete jungle of yellow cabs honking in gridlock and suited sharks darting between delis for their $18 kale smoothies. I'd poured my soul into the city, moved here from a nowhere town in Ohio at 22. Fresh out of Carnegie Mellon with a comp sci degree and dreams bigger than the Empire State. Elena found me at a tech mixer in Soho, all sharp elbows and sharper wit, whispering, "Kid, you've got the code, I've got the con. Let's own this town." We did. Vostek revolutionized patient data analytics, spotting cancers before symptoms even whispered. Hospitals from Cedars-Sinai to Mass General swore by us. I was the invisible wizard behind the curtain. She was the face on CNBC. The TED Talk queen preaching disrupt or die. By the time my Louboutins hit the lobby marble, the rage had crystallized into something colder, sharper, a scalpel. I hailed a cab to my walk-up in Brooklyn. The kind of pre-war brownstone with creaky stairs and a view of the bridge that reminded me why I stayed. Inside, I fired up my laptop, the one I'd forgotten to return, perks of being CTO until 10 a.m. That day, the USB slotted in with a click that echoed like a chambered round. Files bloomed on screen, transaction logs time-stamped to her private jet jaunts, emails where she'd greenlit dumping stock tips to her Rolodex of hedge fund bros. But the real poison? The '09 cover-up. I'd confessed to a lesser charge, falsifying reports, to shield her. Served 6 months probation. Lost my security clearance for a year. All while she toasted me at the company holiday party as the backbone of Vostek. Backbone. Yeah, right. More like the sacrificial lamb. I didn't cry. Crying was for the old Valentina, the one who'd idolized Elena like a big sister. Shared bottles of Napa Cab on fire escapes dreaming of IPO glory. This new me? She scrolled LinkedIn. firing off feelers to headhunters while drafting an anonymous tip to the Journal's investigative desk. But that was too slow burn. Too clean. Revenge isn't a press release. It's a virus, replicating until the host implodes. By 11 a.m., I'd looped in Marcus, my old college buddy turned SEC whistleblower attorney.
Val.
This is dynamite, he rasped over the line, voice thick with that Jersey edge. You leak this. She's toast. But you're the canary in the coal mine. They'll drag you through the mud for the cover-up. Let 'em, I shot back, staring at the skyline where her penthouse pentacle mocked me. I want her empire. Not scraps. Marcus chuckled, low and knowing. All right, Valkyrie. We play hardball. Valkyrie, his nickname for me since that freshman hackathon where I cracked a bank's firewall for shits and giggles. By noon, the first domino teetered, an encrypted email to the board. CCNG PharmaCorp's due diligence team. Subject: Due diligence addendum. Vosteka's hidden liabilities. Attached: redacted samples from the USB. Just enough to spook without spilling the full tea. The replies flooded in like a flash crash. Board chair. Valentina. What the hell is this? PharmaCorp suit. Call me. Now. Elena? Radio silence. But I could picture her in her corner office. That mid-century modern desk trembling under her frantic Google searches. I leaned back, cracked a window to let in the diesel tang of the street below. This wasn't just about money or vindication, it was about the lie we'd both lived. She'd betrayed me not once, but twice, first with the fraud, then by erasing me from the narrative. But as the city hummed on, oblivious, I wondered if I was any better. The USB held my sins too, my signatures on those falsified docs. My silence when I could have walked away clean. Revenge is a mirror. Cracked and hungry. Reflecting back the monster you always suspected was there. Afternoon bled into a blur of conference calls. Marcus barking legalese while I paced my kitchenette, nuking a sad lean cuisine between strategy sessions. PharmaCorp wanted out yesterday. The board convened an emergency Zoom. Elena's face pixelated and pale as she spun damage control, mischaracterizations from a disgruntled ex-employee. The words stung like slap from a stranger. I crashed the call uninvited. Camera on. Mic hot. Disgruntled? Tridavasted. Elena. 19 years. And you think a non-compete gag order buys your conscience? Gasps rippled through the thumbnails. She recovered quick, that shark smile flashing. Valentina, this is unbecoming. Security's escorting your access as we speak. But her eyes, God, those eyes, flickered with the old fear. The one from '09 when I'd bailed her out. By 4 p.m., our stock, traded OTC since the Series C, tumbled 15% on rumor alone. CNBC ticker crawled, Vostek in turmoil amid executive ouster. I watched from a dive bar in Williamsburg, nursing a bourbon neat, the kind that burns going down like unfinished business. Texts from old colleagues. WTF. Val? You good? One from Jamie, my protege in engineering. Heard the rumors. Elena's full of shit. We got your back.
We.
That word anchored me. A lifeline in the storm. But as night fell, painting the East River black, doubt crept in. Was this justice or just jealousy? Elena had always been the sun, charismatic, ruthless, pulling me into her orbit. Without her, who was I? The coder in the basement, or the queen about to claim her throne? Sleep came fitful, haunted by dreams of boardrooms dissolving into code. Elena's face glitching into mine. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. The kind of November chill that seeps into your bones. I woke to Marcus's voicemail. Val, it's war. She's lawyered up, top firm out of DC. But we've got leverage.
Meet me at the Flatiron.
Bring the drive. I dress like armor. Black sheath dress. Pearls from our founder's anniversary trip to Napa. Hair pulled into a no-bullshit chignon. The subway rattled me downtown. Past graffiti-scarred walls preaching, "Eat the rich," in dripping spray paint. Fitting epitaph for what came next. The Flatiron building loomed like a wedge driven into the city's heart. All Beaux-Arts angles and whispered histories. Marcus waited in a corner booth at the coffee shop below, nursing an espresso. His tie loosened like a noose half-tied. She's countersuing for defamation, he said without preamble, sliding over a tablet with the complaint. Claims you fabricated the files out of spite. And get this, she's painting you as unstable. Cites that '09 probation as prior ethical lapses. My laugh came sharp. Brittle. Ethical? I saved her ass. Literally. We huddled over schematics. Leaked to Wall Street Journal. Anonymous, of course. Rally the rank and file with whispers of stock options vesting if she falls. And the kill shot. Full disclosure to the feds. Time to torpedo the PharmaCorp deal. But as we plotted, Elena's countermove landed like a sucker punch. A company-wide memo. Emailed at 8:02 a.m. In light of recent turbulence, Vostech is accelerating our merger with PharmaCorp to secure jobs and innovation. CTO Valentina Reyes has been relieved for cause. Effective immediately. Relieved for cause. The euphemism for "we're burying you alive." My phone buzzed with notifications, LinkedIn endorsements drying up, headhunter voicemails turning tepid. The empire I'd coded line by line was slipping through my fingers. Elena's fingers, now slick with my blood. Noon approached like a guillotine blade. I stood outside the tower, rain slicking the sidewalks, watching executives scurry like roaches before the light. One more call to make, the board's swing vote. Old man Hargrove, who'd always had a soft spot for me after I debugged his pacemaker app during a golf retreat. Valentina, he grumbled, voice like gravel in a tumbler. This mess. Elena's unhinged. I fed him a crumb from the USB. Just enough to whet the appetite. Help me take it back.
Tom. For the company.
For the truth. A silence stretched. Then, proxy voted to be there. The rain picked up as I stepped back inside. Badge long deactivated, but Marcus's forged temp pass buzzing me through security. The lobby echoed with my heels. A metronome to madness. Elena's office was a fortress of glass and steel. But today the drawbridge was down. She looked up from her desk, surprise cracking her facade for a split second. You have balls?
Val.
Or a death wish? I didn't sit. Didn't blink. Neither. Just the keys to your kingdom. The USB hit her desk with a clatter. Her empire wasn't hers anymore, not after today. But as her fingers hovered over it, I saw the twist of a knife I'd overlooked. The files weren't just her sins. They were ours. And in the unraveling, we'd both bleed. Rain lashed the windows of Elena's office like accusations, each drop a reminder of the storm we'd brewed together back in the early days. She snatched the USB, slotting it into her MacBook with the precision of a surgeon or a thief. The screen glowed, casting harsh blues across her face, illuminating the fine lines time and ambition had etched around her eyes. This, she hissed, scrolling through the ledgers. is ancient history. You think the board cares about 2006. But her voice wavered. That telltale tremor from our first pitch to Kleiner Perkins, when we'd faked revenue projections to land the Series A. Ancient history? Try the foundation of our fraud. I leaned against the credenza, arms crossed, channeling the calm of a debugger facing infinite loops. It's not about then, Elena. It's about now. Pharmacorp sniffing around, and these missteps make the deal DOA. Unless. I let the unless hang, heavy as the humidity outside. Her laugh was pure venom, the kind honed in Harvard Business School war games. Unless I cut you in, spare me the Godfather routine.
Val.
You were always the idealist, the code monkey who thought ethics were optional. Code monkey. The slur she'd whispered during our blowout over hiring ethics guidelines, back when whistleblowers were just TED Talks, not ticking bombs. Flashback to '06. That sweltering August in a sublet over a falafel joint in the village. We'd been bootstrapping Vostek for 8 months, me hammering out the neural nets that could predict sepsis from vitals data, her cold-calling VCs who laughed us out of conference rooms. Rent due. Servers crashing. My student loans compounding like bad interest. Elena burst in one night, soaked from a downpour, clutching a bottle of View she'd borrowed from a networking event. "Fuck it," she declared, popping the cork with a thumbnail. "We're playing their game. Their game. The gray area maneuvers of Silicon Valley's Wild West, pumping fake user metrics, backdating options for insiders." But she went further, routing payroll through a Cayman shell to inflate our burn rate, making us look like high flyers ready to scale. I knew it was wrong the second the transfers cleared. This is wire fraud territory, I protested, fingers hovering over the keyboard. She waved it off, eyes alight with that messianic fire.
Val.
It's survival. You want a code for Google, punching clocks in Mountain View, or build something real?
Real.
The word hooked me, deeper than any algorithm. So I signed off, buried the trails in nested proxies, told myself it was temporary. When the funding hit, $5 million at a $20 million valuation, we celebrated with rooftop tacos, the city lights winking like conspirators. But the secret festered, a shadow ledger in my gut. By '09, it blew up. A junior dev, some kid from IIT with a conscience, tipped the SEC after spotting the anomalies in our API logs. Feds swarmed our loft-turned HQ in Dumbo, badges flashing like error codes. Elena froze, that invincible mask slipping into terror. "Val," she whispered in the bathroom stall, our heels clicking on porcelain as agents milled outside. "I can't go down. My dad's sick, Alzheimer's eating him alive. Promise me. Promise." The word choked me, but I nodded. In the interrogation, I folded. It was me. Desperate times. Bad calls. Perjury tasted like ash. But her grateful hug in the parking lot, fierce, sisterly, washed it clean. Probation. A fine that gutted my savings, and a scar on my resume that kept big tech doors shut. Elena? She pivoted, hired a PR firm, spun it as a learning curve for the whole team. Learning curve. Sure.
Now.
16 years later. That ghost was my Excalibur. Elena ejected the drive, tossing it back like contaminated evidence. "You want blood?
Fine.
But remember, I made you, Valentina Reyes. Without me, You're just another Latina dev from the Rust Belt. Slinging code for scraps. The ethnic dig landed low. The one insecurity she'd poked since day one, my accent slipping under stress. My abuela's recipes clashing with her kale and quinoa brunches. Made me, I countered, voice steady as fiber optic cable. I built the product. You built the myth. And myths crumble when the data drops. She stood. All 5 feet 10 inches of power heels and tailored Armani. Circling the desk like a litigator.
Data.
That's your crutch.
Val.
Numbers don't lie. But people do. What's your angle here? The board? Thales sighed with stability me. But doubt flickered. I saw it in the way her fingers drummed the blotter. Morse code for panic. I'd timed this perfectly. Hargrove's proxy was gathering signatures. Whispers of a no-confidence vote spreading through Slack channels like malware. By 1 p.m., the boardroom would be a coliseum, and I'd be the gladiator with the hidden blade. We hashed it out there. 2 queens in a cage of our making. She offered a severance. Generous. She claimed $2 million, plus references that'd land me at any unicorn in the valley. Walk away clean.
Val.
For old times, the Napa trip, where over Syrah she confessed her miscarriage, how founding Vostek was her way of reclaiming control. I'd held her then, 2 women against the world, vowing to protect each other. Clean? I scoffed. You fired me via courier at 9:45. No call. No coffee. That's your clean. Her eyes narrowed. Calculating. You were holding us back. Too risk-averse.
2.
Principled. Pharmacorp wants aggressive growth. Not your DI side quests. DI, diversity hires. The mentorship program I'd champion for underrepresented coders. Pulling kids like me from community colleges into the fold. She tolerated it for optics, but now it was ammunition.
Principled, she mocked.
Like when you hacked that rival server in 12 to steal their dataset. Or was that team effort too? The accusation hung. A boomerang of our shared sins.
Yeah.
I'd done it. Late-night Red Bull binge. Firewall bypassed in under an hour. But it was her order. Her win at all costs mantra. We were symbiotic then. Parasite and host blurring lines. The clock ticked toward showdown. I left her there, stewing, and rode the express to the boardroom floor. Hargrove met me in the antechamber. His bowtie askew. Face ready from a liquid lunch. Got 8 votes.
Val.
But Elena's rallying the independents, promising bonuses if they stonewall. Bonuses from what? The crumbling deal? I handed him the full USB. Password whispered like a confessional. Read it. Then vote. He nodded, grave as a judge. And I slipped into the observation lounge. A one-way mirror to the arena. They filed in the suits, the quants, the legacy VCs with their Rolex tans. Elena entered last. Queen bee in crimson sheath, commanding silence with a glance. Ladies and gents, this coup attempt by MS Reyes is nothing short of sabotage. She's bitter, unstable, recall her own 9 conviction. Conviction. The word weaponized my past, painting me as the villain in her hero's journey. Murmurs rippled. Then Hargrove cleared his throat, tablet in hand.
Elena.
We've reviewed the addendum. Care to explain the Cayman transfers? Her pause was a glitch. Microsecond of freefall. Auditing errors. Long resolved.
Lies. Of course.
The vote commenced. Electronic tallies climbing like a heartbeat monitor flatlining. 6-5 against her. Then 7-5. My breath caught. Jamie's proxy. Texted from the engine room. For Val. 8-5. Elena's mask shattered. Voice rising in pitch-perfect outrage. This is mutiny. I'll sue every one of you. But the gavel fell, figurative, but final. Emergency CEO transition me. Interim. Pending full disclosure. Elation surged, hot and electric. But as she stormed out, brushing past the mirror inches from my face, she whispered to the glass, knowing I was there, "This isn't over."
Val.
You think you know my secrets? I've got yours buried deeper. Hers, the miscarriage story was cover. She'd confided once, slurring over martinis, about the real skeleton, an abortion in college, paid for with daddy's money. The shame that fueled her climb. But mine? What fresh hell had she unearthed? Night fell heavy. The city a neon bruise. I decamped to Marcus's loft in Tribeca. USB cloned and couriered to a safe deposit box uptown. Champagne popped Veuve. Ironic toast to closure. You did it, Val. Marcus grinned, clinking glasses. Empire's yours by dawn. But sleep evaded. Elena's whisper looping like bad code. What did she have? The 12 hack. Or something darker. The affair with our lead investor in 14. The one I'd smoothed over when his wife threatened to tank the round?
No.
That was hers alone. Or was it? Dawn brought the headlines. Vostek board oust CEO amid scandal. Reyes takes helm. Stock rebounded 8%. Analysts crowing, prodigal daughter returns. I strode into HQ like a conqueror. Badge reprogrammed. Engineers cheering in the bullpen. Elena's office, my office now, smelled of her Chanel. A ghost in the air. I claimed the desk. Firing off memos. Deal paused. Internal audit launched. All hands on ethics training. Power thrummed. Addictive as uncut code. But by lunch, the worm turned. An email from Anonymous at Proton. Attachment. A grainy PDF scan. My blood iced. It was the '09 plea deal. Annotated with highlights on my perjury clause.
And below?
A deposition transcript from Elena to her lawyers. Dated yesterday, Valentina not only covered for me but orchestrated the fraud herself. Motive? Jealousy over my success. She's unstable. Folks, capable of anything. Orchestrated. The lie inverted, making me the mastermind. The board's honeymoon buzzed my phone. Clarify this. Valentina. Pharmacorp. Reconsidering commitment. Rage boiled. But I swallowed it. Channeling Elena's playbook. Deny. Deflect.
Destroy.
Marcus scrambled a response. But damage seeped. Afternoon brought protesters. Ironic. A gaggle of ethics watchdogs outside, chanting transparency now, seated by her. No doubt.
Inside.
Jamie cornered me. Val. The team's fracturing. Rumors you're as dirty as her. As dirty. The mirror cracked wider. Evening found me at a dive in Hell's Kitchen, drowning doubts in whiskey sours. A burner phone buzzed, unknown number.
Val?
It's Hargrove. Elena's going public tomorrow, 60-minute special. Says you're the fraud.
Public.
The word echoed. A death knell. I'd won the board. But the court of opinion? That was her realm. As horns blared outside, I realized the revenge was mutating. No longer mine alone. The shadow ledgers held us both. And in the digging, We'd unearth graves neither wanted opened. The 60 Minutes promo dropped at 7 p.m. Sharp. Elena's face filling my screen like a bad omen. Poised. Victimized. That single tear tracking down her cheek as Leslie Stahl intoned. Betrayed by her protege. The fall of a tech titan. I muted it. But the damage was viral. Twitter, X now, erupting in threads dissecting my past. Vossgate trended. Memes of me as the snake in the garden. Coiled around Elena's apple. My phone vibrated off the coffee table. Marcus. Frantic.
Val.
It's a hit job. She's got whistleblowers. Plants. Probably. We counter with the full drop. Full drop. Unredacted USB to every outlet from Bloomberg to BitChute. Nuclear. Yes. But mutually assured destruction. Not yet, I rasped, throat raw from unshed screams. Let me think. Thinking meant walking. Pounding pavement from Hell's Kitchen to the High Line, where the old rail tracks bloomed with curated wildflowers under strung lights, a sanitized slice of grit for tourists. The Hudson lapped dark and indifferent, mirroring the churn in my gut. Elena's countermove wasn't just smart, it was surgical. Flipping the script, so I was the big bad wolf huffing down her house of cards. Unstable. Jealous. The words wormed in, echoing Abuela's warnings about NVIDIA. The green-eyed curse that poisoned from within. Was she right? Had I always resented her shine? The ease with which she charmed rooms while I debugged in shadows? Backstory unspooled like tangled wire. Post-09. We'd hit warp speed. Series B.
C.
D. Valuations doubling quarterly. Me architecting the AI that parsed MRIs like haikus. Spotting anomalies no human eye caught. Elena closed the deals. Her Rolodex a Rolodex of Rals's senators. Celebs. The occasional Saudi prince with deep pockets and deeper asks. But cracks showed, her late nights networking, the coke-dusted mirrors in the executive washroom I'd cleaned once. Telling myself it was stress. Then 14. The investor affair, Ted Harlan. Silver Fox from Sequoia. Who cornered me at the holiday gala in a coat room reeking of fur and regret. Your boss is fire. Val. But you're the spark. I rebuffed. But Elena? She fanned it into flames. There, discreet, weekends in Aspen closing a $50 mill round. When Harlan's wife lawyered up, threatening to pull funding, Elena begged, fix it.
Val.
Hack her emails. Plant doubt. I did. Forged correspondence suggesting an affair on her side. Blackmail's dark art. But it saved the company. Saved us. Or so I thought. Harlan dumped her post-round, ghosting with a mutual parting. Elena spiraled. Booze at board meetings. Snapping at Jamie over minor bugs. I covered again, attributing it to burnout, pushing through a wellness initiative that bought her time. Loyalty?
Nah.
Love. Twisted. Unrequited. The kind that binds like barbed wire. We'd been more than partners. Late nights blurred into confessions. Her head on my shoulder during market crashes. My hand steadying hers through pitch jitters. Platonic? Sure. Until it wasn't. A kiss once. 11. After closing Series B, champagne-fueled. Forgotten by morning. But the undercurrent lingered. Electric and unspoken.
Now.
That history weaponized against me. By midnight, my interim CEO glow dimmed, board emails turned icy, pause on authority until vetted. I holed up in the loft. Marcus pacing like a caged panther. We go public, your side. Op-ed in the Times. The woman who built Vostek and the friend who stole it.
Op-ed.
My words. Raw and reckoning. Exposing the fraud. The cover-up. The soul suck of silicon ambition. I typed through the witching hour. Fingers flying. Elena Voss didn't just betray me. She betrayed the dream we sold, to innovate without compromise. But as delete keys loomed over the perjury admission, hesitation hit.
Confess.
And I'm radioactive. Withhold. And I'm complicit. Dawn broke with a bang. FBI knock at 6:15. Badges gleaming under the hallway fluorescence. MS. Reyes? Special Agent Kowalski. We need to talk Vostek irregularities. My stomach dropped. Elena's escalation. Feeding them my name as the fraud's architect. Marcus arrived in 20. All bluster and briefs. But the interview dragged. Timelines. Signatures. That goddamn 09 plea. Ma'am. Obstruction's a felony. Kowalski pressed. His partner, a stone-faced Latina with eyes like mine, scribbling notes. Obstruction. The irony burned. I'd obstructed for Elena. Now indicted by proxy. It was her. I finally cracked. Voice steel. All of it. Check the ledgers. They left with copies. Promises of follow-up, but the seed was planted. Me. The Fall Guy Redux. HQ that morning was a war zone. Reporters camped curbside. Drones buzzing overhead like vultures. Security waved me through. But the lobby vibe shifted. Side eyes from reception. Whispers in elevators. Jamie met me at the C-suite. Face ashen.
Val.
Half the engine teams walked, loyal to Elena. And the code. She's got back doors. I think. Auditing now.
Backdoors.
The ultimate betrayal. Digital treason, hidden exploits I'd taught her in our garage days. Now turned against the castle. We locked down the servers. But paranoia spread. Was my email compromised? My phone? The empire I'd reclaimed slipped. Sand through fists. Lunch was a strategy huddle in the war room, once our ping-pong den. Now whiteboards scrawled with org charts and threat trees. Marcus sketched plays, sue for slander. Rally shareholders with a tender offer. Leak counter-evidence to friendly journos. But Elena struck again, presser at noon. Streamed live from her PR firm's Midtown bunker. I'm speaking out, she declared to a forest of mics. Voice quavering artfully. Because silence enables predators. Valentina Reyes wasn't just my partner, she was my confidant. And she exploited that trust. Exploited. The word twisted our history, implying I'd preyed on her vulnerabilities, the miscarriage lie, perhaps, or the abortion shadow. Cameras flashed as she teared up. She framed me to seize control. For what? Power? Revenge? I don't know. But our employees deserve better. Twitter imploded. Stand with Elena. Blue check influencers decrying tech bro toxicity with my face as Exhibit A. Feminists split. Some hailed her survivor glow. Others called bullshit on the mean girl pivot. I watched from the war room. Bile rising. Power? Yeah. I'd craved it once. Envying her spotlight. But revenge? This was justice deferred. A boomerang arcing back. By 2 p.m., Pharmacorp pulled formally. Stock cratering 22%. Board call. Valentina.
We're concerned.
Step back voluntarily. Or we force it. Force it. The empire teetered. My throne quicksand. Desperation bred ingenuity. I dove into the code archives. Jamie at my side. Tracing Elena's fingerprints, subtle inserts. A kill switch on the core AI that could brick client integrations. She's burning it down, Jamie muttered, coffee breath hot. To deny you the win. We patched overnight. A frenzy of if-thens and firewalls, but the real hack was psychological. At 4 a.m., an encrypted message from her. Meet me. Pier 17. Alone. Or the feds get the full tape. Tape? Heart hammering. I slipped out. Hudson winds whipping my coat like flags of truce. Pier 17 loomed. Tourist trap shuddered against the chill. Ferries ghosting in fog. She waited at the end, silhouette sharp against the water. Cigarette glowing like a fuse. Val, she said. No warmth. Just weariness. This ends tonight. I approached slow. Hands visible, no weapons. Just words. Your tape, what is it? She exhaled smoke. A dragon in defeat. Our kiss. 11. You initiating. Me pulling away. But edited? Looks coercive. Your instability in action. Coercive. The lie gutted me. It had been mutual. A spark in the void. But in her hands, it was dynamite, Me Too fodder. Career ender. Why? I demanded, voice cracking on the waves. After everything? Her laugh was hollow, ash scattering. You think I betrayed first? You covered the fraud to control me. Leverage. Always leverage. Then the Harlan hack? You enjoyed it, didn't you? The power. Projections. My sins magnified. We circled. Accusations flying like gulls. Her coke habit I'd enabled. My jealousy I'd denied. I loved you, she spat finally, raw as exposed wire. Like a sister. And you? You wanted the crown.
Loved.
The word hung. A circuit closing. Dawn crept, graying the sky. Walk away, she urged. I'll recant the tape. The depots. But the company? It's poisoned. Let it die.
D.
Vostek. Our child flawed.
Fierce.
But as sirens wailed distant, feds or paparazzi, I saw the out, mutual destruction, or shared rebirth. No, I said, decision crystallizing. We fix it. Together. Her eyes searched mine. Trust's ghost flickering. A nod.
Tentative.
Armistice? Back at HQ. Fragile alliance formed. Joint statement. United leadership amid challenges. The board bought it. Stock stabilizing. But as we drafted, her hand brushed mine electric. Old currents. Trust or trap? Circuits twisted. And in the code of us, bugs lurked unseen. The joint statement landed like a patch on a hemorrhaging wound. Vosteka's homepage updated by 10 a.m. Elena and I flanking the logo in a stock photo of unity. Press release spinning, renewed commitment to integrity. Twitter simmered down from boil to broil. Vosgate morphing into think pieces on female rivalry in tech that made my skin crawl. Feminists praised our sisterhood reclaimed. Cynics called it PR kabuki. But the board bit, reconvening at noon to reinstate me as co-CEO, her concession. My crown shared. Provisional, Hargrove grunted over video. His bow tie straighter now. 6 months. Clean audit. Or we're shopping the assets.
Shopping.
The empire on eBay. Our legacy liquidated for parts. Elena and I decamped to the war room, irony thick as the whiteboard markers fumes, mapping the minefield. Feds first, I said, slotting the USB into the projector. Ledgers bloomed, wall-sized, red flags pulsing like heart attacks. She winced, tracing a transfer to her ex's offshore trust. Amateur hour. I was 28, scared shitless. Scared. The vulnerability peaked, humanizing the shark. We prepped our surrender. Voluntary disclosure. Fines paid from personal coffers. A plea for leniency citing youthful indiscretion. Marcus nodded approval from speakerphone. Smart. Positions you as reformed, not rogue. But the real reckoning brewed in subtext, the unspoken détente between us. Lunch arrived via DoorDash, sushi rolls. Neutral ground, eaten in silence broken only by rain pattering the glass. The tape, I ventured, wasabi burning my tongue. Destroy it. She met my gaze. Chopsticks paused. Already did. Last night, after you left the pier. Truth? Her eyes held steady. But trust is a glitchy OS reboot.
Crash.
Repeat. Afternoon brought the audit team. Forensic accountants in sensible loafers combing servers while Jamie's crew stress-tested the AI for backdoors. Clean, he reported by 4. Fist-bumping me like old times.
Clean.
A word we'd chased since '06. Always one bug away. Evening fell with a curveball. Harlan, the ghost investor, emailing from a Napa vineyard. Heard the drama. Elena owes me big.
But you?
Let's talk round 2. Round 2. Fresh capital. His firm leading a bridge to stabilize the stock. I forwarded to Elena. Her reply terse. Don't. He's poison.
Poison.
The man who'd betted her empire into being. Then bailed. But desperation whispered. Take the snake. Charm it. I CC'd Marcus. Set a call for dawn. Sleep came shallow. Dreams of circuits fusing. Elena's face melting into mine. A hybrid horror. Next morning, Harlan's video feed crackled from Sonoma. Wine glass in hand, tan deeper than his ethics. Valentina, always the fixer. Elena's mess. Your mop. Charm offensive. He pledged $100 mil at premium valuation. Contingent on no more family feuds. Family. The word chafed. We'd been that once. Dysfunctional as any American dynasty. Elena crashed the call from her phone. Voice tinny. Ted. We're good. No strings. He chuckled. That's Silver Fox Rumble. Strings are my specialty.
Love.
Remember Aspen? The jab landed. She flushed pixel red. I steered. Numbers first. Due diligence by Friday. He agreed. Screen winking out. But the aftertaste lingered, his leverage over her. Now mine by proxy? The week blurred into blitz. SEC meetings in D.C. Gray suits grilling us in fluorescent hell. Kowalski, the Fed from my doorstep, led the tag team. MS. Reyes, your own 9 statement contradicts today's narrative. Perjury squared. I held firm. Elena at my side. Our prepared lines syncing like rehearsed code. Evolution of truth, she quipped. That old wit flashing. He didn't smile. Fines loomed, $50 mil corporate. Personal hits gutting our nests. But no cuffs. No headlines of indictments. Progress. Yet controversy brewed domestic. Employee town hall. Virtual sea of faces from Bangalore coders to Boston sales reps. What about us? A mid-level dev piped up. Voice quaking. Layoffs if the deal sours? Elena fielded smooth. Protections in place, severance. Retraining. I followed, and equity refresh for loyalty. Cheers erupted in chat. But offline grumbles festered, Elena's old guard loyalists painting me as the interloper. My DI pushes as woke overreach. Controversy split the ranks, a viral internal Slack thread debating if our fraud harmed patients, igniting bioethicists versus pragmatists. No one right, all gray. Our AI had saved lives, but built on lies. The house divided, mirrors shattering. Climax crested Thursday. Boardroom redux, full complement. No proxies. Air thick as a derivatives trade gone south. Hargrove called order. Gavel metaphorical. Audit complete. Material weaknesses. But remediable. Recommendation. The accountants droned. Restructure. Divest non-core. Co-CEO model. High risk. Elena spoke first. Voice velvet over steel. We pivot to B2C. Patient apps. Direct monetize. My vision. Her vision. Flashy. VC catnip. But risky. Privacy pitfalls in consumer health data. My turn. B2B fortification. Deeper hospital embeds. Ethical AI certs. Sustainable. Sustainable. Slower burn. My blueprint for longevity. The room cleaved, her charm pulling dreamers. My data grounding realists. Votes teetered 6-6. Tiebreaker Hargrove's eyes flicking between us. Tension coiled. A spring wound tight. Elena leaned in, whispering to him, audible in the hush. Tom. Think legacy. Disruption. I countered soft. Or endurance. Truth. He paused. Eternity in a breath. Then, endurance. Reyes lead solo. Solo. The word echoed. Victory Pyrrhic. Elena's face shock. Then steel as she stood, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. This is your funeral.
Val.
Without me, you're adrift. Adrift. The accusation stung. But as she exited, head high, the room exhaled. Empire mine. Unchained. But the real twist twisted in her wake, a final email. Time-stamped 11:59 p.m. Subject: one last secret. Attachment: a scanned letter. Yellowed. From 2005. Pre-Vostech. My Ohio college days. Dear Val, it read. Elena's looping script. I know about the hack, the prof's grades. I covered for you with the dean. Water under. Sisters? The hack. Freshman desperation. Altering transcripts to snag that scholarship. The one that launched me east. She'd known. Buried it. Leveraged silence into partnership. My cover for her fraud? Reciprocity. Not love. The mirror inverted fully, no heroes. Just survivors trading shadows. Friday dawn vindicated. Harlan wired the bridge. Stocks surged 12%. Headlines crowing, Reyes rises. I addressed the all hands. Voice steady. We've weathered the storm.
Now.
We build honest. Applause thundered. But Elena's empty seat loomed. A void. She vanished. Rumors of a sabbatical in Tuscany. Or a tell-all book deal. Power settled. Heavy as crown jewels. But hollow. The reckoning? Not her fall. But mine seeing the circuits we shared. Twisted but intertwined. As weekend beckoned, a care package arrived. Napa cab. 11 vintage. Note attached. To new code. Don't fuck it up. Laughter bubbled. Bittersweet. Truce? Or taunt? The empire pulsed on. But in its heart, the bugs remained ours. Indelible. Months blurred into a new normal. Vosteka's glass tower humming under my solo reign like a well-oiled mainframe. Bugs patched. Firewalls fortified. The AI evolving from Frankenstein's monster to guardian angel. Harlan's Infusion bought breathing room. We launched the ethical cert program. Badges of honor for clients wary of scandal. Stock hit all-time highs. Analysts dubbing me the Redeemer CTO, Forbes profile gushing about grit over glamour.
Grit.
The word fit. Chafing like jeans after a rain-soaked shift. But it's sold, board extended my contract indefinite. Hargrove slapping my back at the quarterly. You're the steady hand we needed.
Val.
Steady. If only they knew the tremor in my hands some nights. Bourbon blurring the ledgers that still whispered in dreams. Elena faded to footnote. A LinkedIn update from consulting. Sightings in wine country with a silver-haired sommelier half her age. No lawsuits. No leaks, just silence. The loudest revenge. Jamie stepped up as my shadow SOO. His Brooklyn sarcasm a bomb. Boss, you're turning this into a non-profit. Next. You'll mandate therapy dogs in the server room.
Therapy.
I could have used one. Unpacking the detritus of our war, the perjury scar, the Harlan hack's moral skid marks. But progress pulled. Q1 earnings crushed. A TEDx invite to Austin where I preached code with conscience, the crowd's applause washing old guilts like rain on windshields. Yet controversy clung like static. The employee divide healed slow, her loyalists jumped ship to startups. Bad-mouthing my vanilla vision in Valley Whispers. A class action suit from '09 investors. Smelling blood. Drag my name into depots. MS. Reyes. Your role in the falsifications. I stonewalled. Marcus's prep airtight. But the headline stung. Co-founder's shadow looms.
Shadow.
Elena's gift. That Ohio letter a grenade with a loose pin. I'd shredded it. But echoes lingered. Was our bond ever pure? Or just a ledger of favors? Sisters? She'd written.
Ha.
More like co-conspirators in America's meritocracy myth, where the climb excuses the corpses. Summer scorched in. Manhattan a steam bath of hot dog carts and halal trucks. My routine a grind of dawn runs along the West Side Highway. Code reviews till dusk. Evenings at dive bars nursing IPAs with Marcus dissecting case law like bar trivia. Romance? A blind date with a gallery curator. All tattoos and theories. Fizzled over my workaholic vibes. Who had time? The empire demanded fealty. Client dinners and steakhouses where VCs probed for the Elena factor. My laugh deflecting. Ancient code. We're version 2.0. Version 2.0. Leaner. Meaner. But mine. Autumn brought the twist. Sharp as a kernel panic. October board retreat in the Berkshires. Foliage ablaze. Air crisp with wood smoke and whiskey. We huddled in a timber lodge. Fire crackling as projections glowed. 30% YOY growth. AI patents pending. Toasts raised to the Phoenix year. Then Hargrove's phone buzzed. Face draining like bad news on a trading floor. Gentlemen and Val, we've got a problem. An SEC enforcement action. Not on old fraud. But fresh insider tips from our Q3 preview. Trace to Elena's new consulting firm. But the kicker? The tips routed through a proxy server in my name. IP spoofed to Vosteka's VPN. My blood froze. Room spinning like a DDoS attack. Framing, I choked. But doubt-seated, had she accessed lingering backdoors? Or worse, had I missed one in the frenzy? Hargrove's eyes bored. Val, this looks bad. Very bad. Very bad. Echoes of '09. The Fall Guy cape flapping anew. Marcus helicoptered in by chopper. Bluster masking worry. Alibis solid. You were in Austin. But optics? You're the face. Optics. The board's polite exile. Suspend duties pending review. For the company's sake. Suspend. The word exiled me to my Brooklyn walk-up. Rain lashing windows like Judgment Day. I tore into the logs. Jamie remote assisting anomalies. Yes, midnight accesses from Tuscany IPs. Elena. Her endgame. Not just escape, but erasure. Torching my reign to reclaim ashes. Rage boiled, but laced with pity, her pyre. Self-lit. From a woman too ruthless for retirement. I drafted the counter. Full forensic dump to feds. Painting her as the saboteur. But as fingers hovered send, the real twist unspooled. An encrypted reply from her. Weeks old. Buried in spam. Val. The letter was half-truth. I covered your hack because I needed you brilliant, unbroken. But the fraud? I did it for us. Your mom's cancer. '05. Chemo bills buried in those transfers. Anonymous donor, Evie. You took the fall thinking it was mine. Payback circle. Mom's cancer. The ghost I'd buried deeper than code. Diagnosed senior year. Treatments draining us dry. The scholarship my Hail Mary. I never connected the dots. The foundation grant that covered copays. A mystery angel. Elena, my savior. Shadowed by her sins. The circle. I'd covered her thought. She me mutual shields. Warped into war. Debate raged internal. Forgive. And I'm fool. Expose. And I'm monster. No right. All wreckage. November grade the city. My suspension a limbo of depots and denials. Feds cleared me, her prints all over, but the board wavered. Pharmacorp circling vulture-like. Elena surfaced. A call from a Florence cafe. Voice sun-warmed.
Contrite. Val.
It's done. Come clean. The donor story. They'll love redemption arc. Love. The public? Split already. Threads raging. Hero or hypocrite? I weighed. Confess the full ledger. Our intertwined falls. And risk it all. Or bury. Build solo. Decision crystallized at Mom's grave in Ohio. Frost-crusted. Wind whispering through corn stubble. Mija. Her voice echoed in memory. Truth's a blade. Cuts both ways. Back in New York. I went nuclear. Press conference. Live from HQ steps. Rain be damned. Vosteka's story isn't one woman's triumph, I declared. Mike hot. Heart exposed. It's too flawed.
Fierce.
Elena Voss saved me before I knew her. I saved her after. Our mistakes? Shared code. Fixed together. The donor reveal dropped. Gasps rippling, humanity over hubris. Elena joined remote. Pixel tear-streaked. We rise or fall as one. Pandemonium. Headlines hailed Tech's prodigal sisters. Stock spiked 18%. Board reinstated U.S. co-dash.
Permanent.
But the twist lingered. Debate fodder. Was it absolution or abscond? Her sabotage, a cry for reunion. Or scorched earth. We reconvened in the war room. Sushi redux. Laughter tentative. Sisters, she toasted. Eyes searching. Glitchy ones, I clinked. The empire endured. But scarred you am. Tense. American to the core. No clean wins. Just endless compiles.
Ending?
Not happy. Not tragedy, just code running. Bugs and all. And in the quiet hours, staring at the bridge lights, I wondered, revenge's thrill fades. But the mirror stays, reflecting choices we'd make again. Or not. The debate? Yours now.